Hey guys, and welcome to number 5 in the most generically named podcast in the world. It's a podcast. I've got two lovely individuals with me this time. First, I've got Harry, who's risen from the dead. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing wonderful. How are you?
I'm great, thanks.
I will say right at the top that I'm maybe slightly low energy this time because
That's
it's
fine.
late and I need to not wake up my housemates, so I'm being very quiet.
No one cares. Alright, moving on. Alright, and a special guest this time, it's SirCrest or Brett, whichever you want to call him. Reviewer, let's play, man of many talents. It's a pleasure to have you on. How's it going?
Thanks for having me. I'm very good. And I am the special guest.
You're the special one because there's only 3 of us to this time, so we're gonna have to pull our weight here.
John's
Wonderful.
bailed.
John, yeah, he's broken my heart. He broke my heart when he cut his hair, and now he's not on the podcast. So,
John.
there you
He
go.
cut his hair?
He did.
I
If you didn't know this, Brett, John had luscious locks down to his waist.
Well, first I need to know who John is.
He's a regular on this podcast. I say regular. We've only done 4 before. But anyway, welcome to the podcast. We're going to talk about video games. A lot has happened in the last 2 weeks. We can talk a bit about Watch Dogs and E3. But firstly, we're going to talk about what kind of games we've been playing. So, which one of you wants to start us off here? Who's raging to talk about what they've been
with
playing?
games. I will go
Yeah.
just because this week, I know I'm like X amount of years late to the party, but this week I finally started playing Dark Souls 1 properly.
Oh damn!
Yeah.
That was on sale, wasn't it?
Huh?
Was it on sale?
No, I had it on Xbox. Like I bought it ages ago. I think I bought it on release and I played it like a bit, and I was like, "This is cool. It's difficult. I'm gonna stop playing now." And then my housemate bought it recently because my copy's back at home. And like I actually sat down because I saw all the hype around the second one, and I watched like a few videos of the second one. I was like, "Oh yeah, this game's freaking awesome." So I started playing the first one properly and actually like got past it and didn't suck so much. And I'm like 17 hours into it now, and such a game, such a good game.
Is it Demon Souls or Dark Souls?
Dark Souls.
Alright.
Demon Souls came out at some point just on the PS3, and then Dark Souls is the
I've
other
never
one.
touched those games.
Oh, I'll be playing it in the front room, and all my housemates will be like, "Why'd you play this game? All you do is die and then repeat the same thing." And I'm just sitting there with like a big old grin on my face, just like this game is perfect. Like it's a very divisive game, I find.
Yeah.
Like you either love it or like you just like, I don't get it. It's difficult. Big work.
I think it depends on the player, because some players have an emphasis on I died, therefore I lost something, therefore I'm bad, versus I finished it and I accomplished something. It depends what they place more emphasis on. See, for me, I get very frustrated when I quote unquote lose or I die in something. So I don't think Dark Souls. It would take some learning to get used to the fact that dying is a process of learning to play.
Yeah.
Games like Super Meat Boy, or there's like those really fast-paced platformers, really frustrate me. I love them for many reasons, but one thing is I get extremely frustrated, even though there's no penalty typically to failing.
Yeah.
You just redo it. But I have an emphasis on I didn't win, therefore I'm horrible, which is a hard habit to get out of.
Yeah, I think that's what I went through the first. I've started that game maybe 6 times and never gotten past the first sort of. I mean, if I started it now, I could probably get to further than I ever did before this run in maybe half an hour, maybe more, maybe like an hour or so. So like I had that problem for a long time, but I finally like just pushed past it. There is like, it is such a. It's not like I mean, it is an especially difficult game, but like the thing that sets it apart more than its difficulty is like how unique it is, I think, because I've had this issue with games recently where like, I don't know, it takes a lot to kind of pique my interest with a lot of stuff, especially like big titles. It's just like, I don't know, it's just
one thing I'm
that
interested. Sorry.
So I was gonna say with Dark Souls thing, there's always 2 camps, and there's one camp which is you can get into it and that piques your interest, and the other one that you're either a lazy gamer or like we were talking to Chris last week, who's a husband and a father. Is he a father? No, well, he's a husband, and he just says he doesn't have time for these kind of games. You know, it's to kill you and send you all the way back over and over again. To him, that's not fun. That's just lengthy, uninteresting gameplay. But I can see why people like Dark Souls and understand it.
I was going to say one thing, and that is I haven't played any of the X Souls games, but one thing I have heard is that it is difficult, but it's not, and it can be frustrating if you're that type of person, which is probably me. But the way in which it's difficult, but it's fair, I think is what a lot of people have described it as. So unless you're just one of those people who gets frustrated, you know that if you died, you could see the fact that I died because I did X or I didn't do Y. That type of gameplay.
They did that with Dark Souls 2, right? But I heard that in Dark Souls or Demon Souls, there's still really cheap deaths. Or is it in the recent one?
I think it was the recent one.
Right. You can open crates and they explode and just nonsense like that.
You can get the mimics and stuff. Well,
randomized events that have no indication that something is going to go wrong, but they do. You would open up a door and then suddenly this giant monster would slam through and kill you instantly. But one of the biggest things I've seen is there's a great Dark Souls 2 video, Matthew Tosis or something like that. I forget his name. I love all of his stuff, by the way. He talks on a certain point where he shows Dark Souls and then Dark Souls 2 footage. And in Dark Souls 1, obviously there's certain moments where they have a downward attack from above where you can move, like the enemy will basically turn around to hit you. But there's a certain point where they will stop turning and they will just finish the attack, which gives you time to dodge, right? But Dark Souls 2, what he showed is that the hitboxes are as wide as a bus, and you can dodge straight out of the way, and this giant sword will still hit you, even though obviously on screen it didn't touch you. And
that would be frustrating.
Again, I haven't played it, but that showed relatively good examples of some frustrating moments. Like, obviously, I totally dodged out of the way. That is not my fault, but I still died. And that is definitely something that would frustrate me, because if I definitely dodged out of the way, I can no longer blame myself.
Yeah, I think like Dark Souls is like a famously not poorly made, but like it's always had frame rate issues and stuff. And an issue that I've been having, like even on consoles, like there are certain points in the game where I'll be like, oh, this is the bit where I get 15 frames on an Xbox 360. Like that's not supposed to happen, but it does anyway. So yeah, whatever. But there'll be moments.
PC port, pile of crap.
The PC port, I know it's frame locked. I know there's like a massive mod that like everyone uses called Dark Souls Fix. I'm not sure exactly what it does.
DS Fix, I think it was, right?
Yeah, DS Fix. Like I think it just basically opens up a bunch of options in the config and stuff like that. But yeah, I don't know. It's weird like that. But I've had issues to where you'll do an attack and then it will be like a delay until you actually do it, which is annoying. Like especially when you're just standing there and you're like, I'd like to hit the dude.
Lag.
Yeah, but like of like a second or something. So you'll be like, I'd like to hit this dude now, and then he's, halfway across the room before you actually attack and stuff like that. I mean, it's very, very rare, and it is like, most of the time it is like, oh yeah, I died because, I should have been more patient and stuff. I think that's the key point of that game is like patience. Like everything, you need to let the enemies do what they're gonna do, and then.
Yeah, I'm sure if you gave me a weekend and forced me to play, I would enjoy it. I think I'm just I'm a bit hesitant to start it.
Since
and
playing
too lazy.
Since playing it, I realized it's a lot like one of my favorite games, the Monster Hunter games.
Monster Hunter?
Yeah. I've mentioned this before, I think.
Yeah.
But like, it's the same with that, where it's all the combat is like action based. So, if you hit this dude with your sword, it's gonna do it. It's not based on stats or like, it's not like turn-based or anything like that. And it's all very like perfect and you can dodge out of the way of everything. And and all the enemies have like very, very specific behaviors. So you can fight something and be like, oh damn, that didn't go so well, but you kind of learn their habits. And Dark Souls is like that, but you're kind of fighting against the whole world instead of just these big monsters. So you'll be like, oh, around this corner is this, around, I know what's coming up and I know how to like combat against that. And I think part of Dark Souls is you're never going to get it first time, because something will come out of the blue and be like, oh shit, that dude's really quick all of a sudden. But like you learn, and that's what I really, really like about it. And that's what I really, really like about Monster Hunter as well. Like I picked up on a lot of similarities between them since like throwing myself into Dark Souls.
I'm just afraid that kind of gameplay doesn't interest me. Like learning an enemy's attack.
Oh,
and
no,
knowing you'd have
awesome.
to do that for every enemy.
I think it's awesome. I mean, it's especially cool in Monster Hunter because they are these like wild animals, and you can kind of apply it to real life. Where like, oh yeah, that's certain animals behave in certain ways and stuff like that. I think it's really, really cool. I think it's awesome.
Nice. So, anything else you've been playing?
I've been playing Grimrock, Legend of Grimrock, on my channel, and I've played it a bunch before, and that is a really, really cool game. I don't know if have you guys had any interactions with it?
I've heard good things about it. I actually own it. I think I got it through one of the dozens or thousands of bundles.
Yeah.
And I've been really interested in playing it, but it's one of those things where I have so many games, therefore I play none of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have so many games to start.
Yeah, it's like my housemates will make fun of me because I'm like, I'll start a new game and they're like, are you actually going to finish this one? I'm like, well, we'll see. I don't remember the last time I finished an actual game. I find that once I experience a new gameplay, I'm like, oh yeah, I get it. On to the next thing. Like, unless it's really interesting to me, it's a bit like, yeah, I can do this. I don't want to do it 1,000 times, which I know is ironic considering I just praised Dark Souls so much, but I don't know. I don't know. It takes a lot to get me interested in a game these days, and I don't know what that is specifically, but I don't know, something interesting.
Yeah, it looks like an interesting game, Legend of Grimrock.
Yeah, it's really like I feel like
especially the way you set up your party and the positioning and stuff.
I feel like
it's quite in depth.
It's really it's quite intuitive as well. Like once you, it's kind of it's like not intuitive, and then as soon as you figure out, it's like, oh yeah, this makes perfect sense. Like, I mean, there's maybe like a 30-second like instance at the beginning when you're like, what? I don't get what's going on, and then you realize, and then it's kind of like a light bulb turns on, and you're like, oh wait, this game's awesome. Like if you don't like the first 20 minutes of the game, maybe less, maybe 10, if you don't like how the game feels within the first few minutes, then just like leave it. But it's not like a slow progression. It's like you either love it or you don't, and I love it. I think it's great.
I watched a bit of your video as well. From the looks of it, like the game looks like it's quite slow, but it has a level of skill to it, isn't it? Like attacking and moving and stuff like that.
Yeah, and it took me ages to figure that out as well. Like in my first playthroughs, I'd just stand there and just try and tank on someone.
Not like turn-based.
No, I mean, that's the thing. It feels like it is, but it's not. Like, it's turn-based. Well, no, it's not turn-based. All your attacks have a cooldown, so you do need to kind of step away from the combat for a few minutes or a few seconds, and then go back in. And that kind of feels turn-based when you first do it, but then you realize that you can actually do whatever you want. You can attack with one dude and then run away and then throw something, and then it's really, really like free combat, but it just doesn't feel that way because it's all locked. Yeah, it's
free fall.
So you said this isn't turn-based, but it's kind of tile-based. You have attacks.
Yeah, it's very
per set.
It's very rigid, like the tile-based. So what it is, you have a party of 4, and say
if you don't move, the enemies will still move, right?
Yeah. So it's all like happening in real time, and so you have a party of 4, and you're all standing on a square, and you guys are in like a 2x2 grid sort of thing, and you can change the position of where your party is. So the 2 dudes at the front will be attacked more because they'll be taking all the hits, and they can attack with like short range weapons and stuff. So you like kind of manage the position of your dudes in this square, and you all move as a single unit in this like grid. So you can't.
Can't you just make like 4 tanks and swap them out?
You could. I haven't tried that. I kind of wanted to try that.
Like if 2 tanks get low, you just swap them in for the ones at the back.
That's what I've been doing. Like when, you can just swap them out like mid-fight and be like, oh, he needs to recharge his attack or something. You can throw the person at the back, let them do an attack, swap them back again, and then keep attacking with all your dudes. It's really, really cool. And it does feel like very limited at the start because you are fixed to this grid and you can't go anywhere except on this grid. But like once you realize it's actually really open combat, it's like, oh, cool.
I suppose, yeah, that wouldn't make sense. You need people at the back to attack at the same time.
Yeah, that's why you can get weapons where
my plan is foiled.
But you can get weapons where like the like pole arms and stuff that have reach, so the people at the back can attack the enemy, so because they can like reach through your other dudes. It's really cool.
Well, now I want to play it.
Yeah, it's really good.
I mean, I guess it's because it's hard to see what it's like in screenshots, even in video.
Screenshots don't do it justice.
Because all you see is that. Whoa, what?
Is that
is a plane, gentlemen.
Oh,
is that the Flight 370 or something?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I get planes over here at random times. They like to practice. Sorry, go ahead. It's gone now.
You're saying how it's you can't tell what the game's like from the screenshots.
Right. So, right, because I mean, even in video, it's hard to get an understanding of what is going on. I mean, I'm looking at the trailer right now on the Steam store page, and I'm seeing stuff happen, but it's unclear. I mean, I haven't muted Simulator's voiceover. I don't know. It's hard to get an understanding of what I'm actually seeing. I see things moving. I see stuff happening. What does this mean? So hearing it in terms of you're a party, you go from tile to tile, and there's all this different strategy in play.
Yeah,
makes it seem more interesting than simply there's an enemy, click on it. You know, like like it is what the impression I would get. Yeah, no.
The thing is, I saw screenshots and stuff. It was like, oh yeah, fucking dungeon. I've seen this before. And then when I saw it in video, I was like, wait, I don't really get what's going on. And it looks so much more interesting than like a full movement game, I guess. So I was like, oh, this looks really cool. And then
it doesn't do the best job of selling the game to you, really. The trailers.
Yeah, no, I mean, I haven't watched the trailer in ages, and I don't remember if it was actually the trailer that sold me, but it just, something about it looked interesting. But yeah, I would for sure give it a shot. I mean, yeah, it is, like, that's the thing, like...
I'm guessing
I didn't really know what I was getting myself into, and then the only way, like, the feel of the game is really, really good. Like, the second you play, like, oh, yeah, this makes perfect sense. Why aren't there, like, 1,000 games like this? This is really, really cool. And it just feels... The game feel is good. The game feel.
Oh boy.
Oh, it's $15 on Steam.
Yeah. I was gonna say that. I mean, obviously, this was probably some other people's impressions as well. But that classic like Windows 98 screensaver, going through the hallways.
Oh yeah.
With the brick. That was really really scary to me because, you go forward and then you turn. I hate when people play like that.
Yeah, you have no peripheral.
Drives me crazy.
Well, you can move sideways in this, so all your fears are alleviated. You can face the wall and then just walk right and be staring straight down the corridor.
What's that? I can't hear you.
The first game I ever played in my life is a game called Scarab of Ra. Have you heard of that game?
I haven't.
It's a game on the Macintosh. And it's basically a dungeon crawler, the same as that. And I remember the fear of like turning left at a corner as a small child. God, these planes! Come on, man! I'm trying to do a podcast here.
I'm sure they're thinking, "Oh no, he's podcasting. We should fly away."
Turn the engines off.
I've got countless number of my videos where I have to stop it and be like, "Fuck's sake."
Yeah, I would say, I mean, the amount of people that probably just own Legend of Grimrock that's just in a bundle. Like, I have so many games like that, yeah.
I have a specific list on my Steam account just for games I got in bundles that I've yet to play. Because if I finish something or I did a video on it, I categorize them so I can work my way through them.
Wow.
I have a ton of games through bundles and stuff, and I have a couple Steam accounts, so I have them shared. So I don't know, I have 400 games or something like that, and like 170 of them are bundles, and there's so many that I would never really even play. I have no interest in. I'm not going to name any because I mean no offense by it, but I got the game because I didn't intend to. One little indie game that kind of was out of the blue was Little Inferno. Did you ever play that?
I did.
I watched the playthrough of that actually.
I love it.
It's so it looks really cool.
I mean,
love it.
obviously I have it on Steam, but I play it on my phone all the time, and my phone gets actually really hot, so it's really realistic.
I love that game up until, I mean, you've played all the way through it, right?
No, I'm still taking my time with
You know
it.
what, the game is a kind of a perfect game for the iPad, I think.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. Like, it's really, really good. It's really fun. It's really interesting. It's like just, a kind of calm game, and then it tries to become like a adventure game. Like you go, like outside the house. I mean, it's not really spoilers. There's no plot to the game, but it's like you go outside the house and you walk around. But it's maybe like a 10-minute segment at the end that tries to be like all explorative.
What?
Yeah,
I thought that was the charm to it. Have you played World of Goo? That's the game they made before that.
No, I haven't.
Oh, was that by the same? That was the same developer?
Yeah, World of Goo was really good.
Well,
it has
that
the same kind of
makes a lot of sense
kind
now.
of dark story. Yeah,
I don't know, Little
World of
Inferno was
Goo
awesome.
Kind of slipped on. Sorry.
No, it's Shane. Little Inferno is awesome, and then it gets kind of weird. Like, I wish the last X amount of minutes was just like not there. I wish it was just like, okay, you burned everything, good job.
So
Credits.
did
Well, they
2D
had that
Boy
kind of
die?
dark-
Because
in the end of
World
Little
of
Inferno?
Goo was developed by 2D Boy.
Yeah,
So 2D Boy
I'm not
disbanded?
I'm pretty sure it's made by the same people or the same kind of. I'm not sure if it's the same development company or the same.
Well, Steam
name,
lists that
but
as
I'm
Tomorrow
pretty sure
Corporation
it's-
done for Little Inferno, and 2D Boy for World of Goo. I mean, visually they make sense. They seem very similar in style and humor, very much so. The
Yeah.
writing seems very similar, so I wouldn't surprise me if they disbanded and then came back together for this game.
Yeah, if it's not the same name, I'm pretty sure it's the same. At least the same people.
Mm-hmm.
But World of Goo is fantastic. Kind of slipped under a few people's radar.
I heard a lot about it. Like everyone was saying, "Oh, World of Goo, that's a cool game. You should check out." And then I don't know. I never really kind of looked at it. It just looks like a weird flash game.
Yeah,
don't
does
know.
it?
Well, it plays like a weird Flash game, except it's genuinely really well made. There is genuine
Okay.
strategy to it, and it's on. If you, depending on which bundle you got, you probably have it available for your phone.
I think they had the most unique high score page, which is I'm trying to recall it. I'm not entirely 100% sure, but as you progress, you get on your high score page, you get more goo to build upwards, and your high score is how high you could build your goo tower.
That is
If
cool.
that made sense.
I remember that they
So,
released a
something like-
free game that it was basically the World of Goo, except no story. It was just you have unlimited goos, and you could build a tower to see how high you got in meters. I think my highest one was like 340 meters or something. But eventually, it will topple over, and it's the scariest thing ever because you just spent maybe 10 or 15 minutes building this thing, and then suddenly, oh no, it's tipping, and then
The Jenga.
That
effect.
that
Yeah.
entire experience is Dark Souls. You just built up all this stuff and then it's all gone.
Yeah, just like every relationship I've ever had.
well, I think that's enough of.
But yeah, World
old
of Goo is
games.
fantastic. Go play World of
Because
Goo.
World of Goo came out in 2008, so
Holy
we
shit,
probably
that's a
haven't
long
been
time
playing
ago.
that recently. But I have been playing Little Inferno on my phone occasionally. The trickiest part is just figuring out what the combos are to
Oh yeah.
to get those, especially since some of them should happen, but they don't. So you have to do them a couple times. Biggest one for me, I think, was Moviegoer, and it was the TV and the corn.
Makes sense.
But I did that. Right, it made sense. I did that a couple times, and then I thought to myself, "Wow, it must not be that." So I kept looking, and then eventually I came back to it a few weeks later, and suddenly it worked. So there are some frustrating moments like that where obviously I did the right thing, but why isn't it working?
Whenever I want to do a combo, I'd always make sure that like every last bit of ash is like stamped out, so it doesn't register that anything else is on. Is like in the fireplace.
Because you want it to burn at the same time.
Yeah, you want just that combination to be in action. That game's really fun. That game is really awesome.
I think it's really fun because, as kids, we always like to play with fire.
Yeah.
I don't know any human who hasn't. So it's kind of a neat thing that it's based around the idea of just taking toys and random stuff and burning them.
Fun to make the Hound from Game of Thrones play it.
Oh yeah, I'm sure he'd love that.
So what else have you been playing, Bert?
Well,
Anything exciting?
Besides Bound by Flame, which I don't know if I want to talk about anymore. I've just...
I was hoping you would talk about it.
Well, maybe. Well, last night I finally finished Far Cry 3. And the thing is, I pre-ordered it. This was during a period of my life where I had a lot of money, not much time, and especially not much motivation to actually play things. Because I was in that phase where I was buying a lot of things to Let's Play, but I was also constantly being reminded that a lot of my viewers weren't into Let's Plays. So I was losing subscribers. That's why I launched my second channel. Anyway, skipping past that, I played maybe 3 hours total for an impressions video, which it did okay. And then I didn't touch it for like 6 or 7 months. And then Blood Dragon came out, which I loved. Fantastic game. I had like 40 hours in that somehow.
Wow.
Because it's like a 4-hour game. And then I finally got back to Far Cry 3 the last few weeks. Because for me, it's very relaxing. Because since it's open world and...
You can just go hunting for like an hour.
Yeah, except once...
Until you get bored of it.
Yeah, I mean, the issue with the hunting is that it tells you, go out and hunt, which is fine. But then you start hunting all these animals to unlock, new pouches and new ammunition, containers and stuff. And that's fine. But the problem I have with it is, if you already crafted... See, the only thing you can do with skins is craft them, basically. That's the only thing you can do with leather, skins, or whatever.
Shark skin wallets and shit like that.
Right. That's the only thing you can do with them. So my problem is that, you have to build a new loot sack. I think the maximum is 96 blocks or something. The issue I had is you do all that, but then throughout the game you will never have any purpose for, the 5,000, dingo pelts that you have. So why not make it an auto sell item? Once you've crafted it, why is it still... I crafted everything in the game.
Can you not sell the pelts?
You can, but you have to do them individually. There's a quick sell button.
Wow,
There's a quick sell button, which is great because you have these little trinkets like, pour magazines and bullets and stuff like that, that you pick off soldiers or from loot containers. That's fine, but make it automatically switch to the quick sell, because otherwise I just have to click and press enter 10,000 times to clear up my inventory. And
I don't think they expect you to do so much hunting then.
Well, I guess what I was getting at is the hunting serves no purpose outside of crafting one item. Basically one item.
I get you.
Yeah, pretty much one item per animal. Or you do the hunting missions, which those in that case they basically deliver you to exactly where you need to be to get the item that you need. So
I can see the point of view from the developer that will make one animal to craft one kind of item, so that they'll have to hunt at least the animal once, each animal at least once.
But I guess my point is
sense.
it's hunting outside of just doing it once for each animal is completely worthless. I was just killing them because they were in the way, typically. So you think to yourself, oh man, see, in a lot of games you have this, it's implied, I think it's the right word. It's implied that you should loot everything, but then when you quote unquote loot animals, which is you're skinning them, technically, it feels like it's pointless. It's kind of like going in Skyrim and you're level 100 and you're still picking up the crap off of bandits that have like an iron bow or something.
I still do that in every game. I can't just leave something unlooted.
But
so I'll just have like 1,000 of the worst item in the game. Like, well, you never know. One day, or like,
these 150 plates will come in handy soon.
Or I'll always do it if like, well, maybe because the worst one was in Fallout 3. There, like you just find crap everywhere. Just that
tin cans.
But there were certain characters which would pay like a ridiculous price for these really common things. Well, not common, but kind of unsuspecting. So you don't like. I always pick things up. Or like maybe there's some NPC in the game that's gonna pay like tons of currency for like this crappy item. Like, I never know.
Skyrim kind of did that too. There would be a farmer that would say, "I'll pay you 1 gold for every cabbage you bring me," when you could just go to the store and get 2 for it or something. So I always felt like that was completely worthlessly out of place if somebody didn't know that you could sell things at a store. Instead of like, I'll pay you well for the cabbages. And it's like, I collected 30 cabbages and here's 30 gold. When I could get that looting 1 body with 1 arrow. It's like, it's a really strange balance. Like, why even put in the effort to voice act somebody to offer to buy something when it's completely worthless to do?
Well, they were actually paid in cabbages. That's how it all worked out.
My cabbages. Anyway, so
cabbage market.
For Far Cry 3, that's a really small nitpick because eventually I figured out I need to stop looting animals. But it would have been nice if,
just leave the animals alone, Brett.
Like let me loot them if I want, but then make it easier for me to sell the items. So I ended up not looting things because I didn't need the money because you end up having so much money in this game. And secondly, it becomes a pain to sell, and you can't drop them. You have to sell them. At least I think you can't drop them.
I forget if it had a Red Dead syndrome where you had to watch the character skin the fucking animal over and over.
I was just about to say that. I was like, it's not as bad as the hunting experience in Red Dead. Oh, God.
Damn, that was annoying.
At least it's, you're not, all you see is a knife going down below frame, and then suddenly, this animal's bloody, and I have a huge ball of skin, and he dumps into a bag. There's no real
I wish they would just put it in a black screen. So that's the middle ground. Don't make me watch them skin it. And
it's not even
don't make
it's
them
not even that.
watch...
It's just like the wait time. It's just like, okay, you did the thing. Now wait 20 seconds while we do nothing. It's just like you can't even skip it, and it's just the dude is like, well, I killed the armadillo. Good job. Like,
But apart from that, Far Cry 3, it's just a beautiful game, isn't it?
Yeah, sorry, so... I got off way on a tangent on that. Sorry. That was just one of the the annoyances that I had. So I just finished it, and I know a lot of people, not a lot of people, there seemed to be an indication from a lot of people that I listened to that said, I hate the characters in the game, or I hate...
Jason, you have to go kill them, Jason.
Yeah, stuff like that. A lot of people, that bothered a lot of people. I thought Far Cry 3 had really good writing. And I know that sounds kind of weird. I chose to save my friends because I didn't understand Citra's real purpose. Like her... What's the word I'm looking for? Like, what she gets out of it? What does she get out of me killing my friends?
Motivation.
Right. What's her motivation for me killing my friends? She tells me I'm going to be more powerful because I'll forget about them, but that all was really muddy to me. I chose my friends because, as annoying as some of them were, they seemed really realistic. I
thought the voice acting was fantastic.
Even the facial animation, I thought was really, really good, compared to a lot of other games I played. But yeah, the voice acting, and what I mean by realism, I split 2 words there. Realistic kind of behavior is that, Lisa is my girlfriend, I think. Thing is, it had been a while since I played that section where it explained it. So there's a section where I think you rescue Oliver, one of your friends, I guess, and you're in the cave, and Oliver is with whatever the girl in the pink is. I forget her name. Anyways, Lisa comes up to you, or you go up to Lisa, go to Lisa, and you talk to her, and she's basically saying, "I'm really worried because you're carrying all these guns, you're covered in tattoos, and I'm worried what's going to happen to you. Take care of Riley, and let's go." And your character lashes out, and I think both of them reacted realistically because Jason's gone through so much. And there's this term that was thrown in with Bioshock. It was like Ludo characterism or something like that. You guys remember that? There's a word for it.
Ludo.
Basically,
not really.
It was describing the fact that you have this story and characters where they're really calm or they're acting a certain way, and then suddenly guns blazing and they're murdering thousands of people, and they don't seem to notice it. That type of atmosphere. Yeah. And in this game, it has some amounts of that, but still it balances between this character is really crazy because he killed half the population on his vengeful mission, but also at the same time you're seeing him react to it with the people around him. And Lisa was really annoying, but it seemed like she cared for him because she wanted him to stop this and leave the island with him. And I thought that particular scene really made sense to me. It seemed like they were in a relationship.
Right.
It just
sense.
seemed like all the characters actually were characters, which is a lot better than I can say for Bound by Flame. So that's my rant on Far Cry 3. Really.
If you want to hear more of Brett's rant, go watch his Bound by Flame review, which was fantastic. I really enjoyed it.
Thank you.
Because it was about a 45-minute rant, which was great.
And it wasn't just a rant. I wasn't rambling. It was...
Oh, no. It actually kept my attention, even though it's one of the longest reviews.
What? Just for listeners...
Said,
sorry. What?
I was going to say, everything you said... I was currently doing a playthrough of it, and I decided to stop it. And everything you said in your review was... what I was worrying the game would be as I was playing it.
The thing is, I liked it. It just isn't good. I still recommend it, but it's not a good game. Yeah. And I think that was what I put on Steam. I posted the video and I said, look, just to cut to the chase, the game isn't good. It's pretty bad, but I still like it. I still recommend it. It's like a B movie in game form. It tries really hard.
Yeah.
It has a couple really stupid lines, but it tries really hard. And if you play on lowest difficulty so it's not frustrating, I think it would be enjoyable.
Problem is how much they're charging for it.
Yeah, I know.
If it is a B movie, they're charging for a blockbuster. Like $39 is a bit... in my opinion, it is skewed because I didn't pay that.
Yeah.
So I would have a lot stronger feeling about it if I did pay the full price, probably.
Yeah, I think that's why at the end I said something like, wait for it to be on sale, because it's not nearly good enough for $40. I mean, yeah, you get a lot of time supposedly out of it, but that the enjoyment per hour is actually quite low. So I don't think that metric holds water.
I just found the whole thing, kind of to summarize what you were saying about, just a bit underwhelming.
Mm-hmm.
I suppose, and just kind of bland. I found the characters really bland.
Yeah.
More than what were we talking about just now?
Far
Bland
Cry.
characters.
And how?
Oh no, yeah, the opposite of Far Cry.
Yeah, that was something I was telling somebody last night when I finished. Is like, you have an RPG. Granted, it's a action RPG, so it's meant to be about combat, but for an RPG designed around playing a role and being all about the characters. I mean, RPGs are about the story and stuff. A game that's a first-person shooter, an open-world game where you just are supposed to kill anything effectively, has better characters and writing than a game whose entire focus basically is the story and the characters. I thought that was a funny little thing. Now, granted, Ubisoft is a huge corporation, but they know how to write characters, I guess. Which seems odd because a lot.
God damn it! Talking about Ubisoft.
Sorry, I know a lot of people hate Ubisoft.
Well, I didn't until recently, and I couldn't get my hands on Watch Dogs.
Are you one of the people mad about Watch Dogs?
I'm mad because I didn't get to play it.
Oh, really?
Because on Steam, those who pre-ordered it in my country, in Singapore, they pre-ordered it on Steam because it said it's coming out on 27th of May. Fantastic. 27th of May comes around, the Steam page changes and says 27th of June.
Wait, really?
Interesting. So I went and lucky I didn't pre-order it. So I went and looked online, and there's all these Singaporeans that are raging on the internet. They're going, "What the fuck's going on?" And Ubisoft is like, "Yeah, sorry, we can't put two versions of the game on Steam. So the version in your country is the Vietnamese, English, and Chinese version." So
why? I still don't understand why. Never mind.
But
that's all rant.
Surely they can put different versions on because of games in Australia that have the like South Park,
the
Truth had
censored and
different
stuff like that.
versions. Yeah.
Huh.
I do not know, my friends, but I tried to go out and get a physical copy, and of course they're all sold out.
Mm-hmm. Well, there was a ton of hype around it, so it's not surprising.
Yeah.
But I'm kind of looking at it as a blessing in disguise because there are a lot of negative reviews coming out about it.
Yeah. Well, my housemate got it. I mean, he is in the market for like current gen games because he has an actual rig instead of my like little laptop. So I was like kind of watching him play it, and I don't know. I feel like I was saying earlier, like it takes a lot to get my attention with a game, and that game just kind of looks like pushing forward, and then like I don't know. I don't know what it is, but like it just doesn't look interesting to me. It's like pushing forward, pressing A at the right time, go in where you need to, and just like
it's a next. What I would sum it up as is a next gen game that's not next gen at all. Like on the consoles, I think it's locked at 30 FPS. I think.
Oh really? I think the bit
on
that
Xbox One and PS4.
Yeah, both consoles
the bit that
are
I saw,
30.
the bit that I saw that was just like made me really bored with the game. Like I'm not taught, I don't have much experience with the game, but like what I've seen is it's supposed to be like this amazing like hacking adventure, like super cyber whatever, and then like it's like throw this little thing near the guard, which you do in every game. Usually you just throw a rock or shoot a light, and he's like, "What's that?" And then he walks across the room, and then you sneak past him. In this one,
hilarious in Far Cry.
You throw the thing against the wall, and then you hack it, and you press the X button, and it says hack, and then you hack it, and then it makes a sound, and then the guard walks over there, and then you walk past him. Like,
I know it's the future.
It's like a reskinned Splinter Cell.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. Like, it's like, yeah, this is just a game. Like, you're not doing anything special.
I know it's the future and everything, but how do you hack a camera from another camera?
Because you do.
That's my biggest gripe with the game. Stupid.
The way I understood it was that you're not hacking it from a camera. It's kind of a line of sight thing. Now, granted, this is not how it works in real life, but it could be that he couldn't directly see the other camera, so he couldn't like get a signal to it to find it. Right. So maybe he used the other camera to find the other camera, and then plugged it into his phone or whatever.
Right. Okay.
That's another thing that bugged me with it. It's like, oh, you can hack everything and do like any level the way you want, and then you like hack a camera, and then there just happens to be like a window open where you can see another camera. It's like, okay, well, I'm supposed to go there, obviously, and it's just like really like holding your hand and
so it's kind of orchestrated so that you play a certain way instead of being open-ended.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't like it all that much. It just didn't look anything interesting to me. It's like
I have a question.
Every game.
I have a question about Watch Dogs, though, for those of you who might know. Is it similar? Is it where you have these certain outposts where when you hack them or unlock them, it opens up a new area around it?
I don't know.
It opens up the points on your map, same as in Far Cry.
And Assassin's Creed.
Once you take over,
right?
Yeah,
that's something that really bugs me with Ubisoft games now.
Me too. Yeah.
I mean, it's just why do they keep doing this system? where
But each one is
where you
different.
climb
What
up
is it?
something.
What is it? Essentially the watchtower system from Assassin's
Yeah.
Creed. Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
fuck that, man. I hate it.
Neat idea. Don't do it in
It
every
was good in
single game.
Assassin's Creed. It was really cool in Assassin's Creed. It's like, oh, you climb to this top of this tower and you like see the whole place, and it's like you get a really cool feeling from it.
Not when it takes you 10 minutes.
I mean, in some ways, it works better in Assassin's Creed because then you can actually see what you're looking at. So it makes sense for somebody in a completely analog sense to find stuff. But in Far Cry 3, what is the radio? The radio tower isn't even connected to anything. You know, it's not like it's getting a signal from anything to broadcast. I have a map, which is paper, you know, and I can just go to these locations, but they don't show up. You know what I mean? I can go to this.
Yeah.
I can go to this outpost, or I can go to this location, and it still won't show up on my map, even though in real life I'd be like, oh, this is where it is. I'll mark it on my map. I have to climb up a rickety radio tower, which doesn't do anything really. It just has a sound blaster card inside of it, blocking up the signal, and suddenly all these things are showing up on my paper map.
But it's really fun to zip line off it.
Yeah, but once you get the suit, what's the point? And what bugged me is the suit seemed to occur so late in the game that, you know, it's like I don't have many excuses to use it.
Is it like a wingsuit or something?
Yeah, wingsuit. So you can just sometimes it's better to actually backtrack off a cliff or backtrack up a mountain behind you, because then you can jump off that and get further distance. Which brings me to another point. The wingsuit is incredibly glitchy because you can go down, you know, a road. Sometimes it's really fun when you hit a road with a perfect incline, because then you can just zip down a road like 2 feet off the ground. But the thing is, the moment you touch the ground, you instantly die. 9 times out of 10. Sometimes it would work and you would land, but I would have much preferred you just slide across the ground and, you know, hurt yourself maybe. But it's basically an instant death if you hit the ground.
God, I gotta go look for some
Even at a
Sounds
shallow angle.
hilarious.
So typically, if you're going down a road flying, you have to hit your parachute, which will shoot you up in the air by about 20 feet, and then you have to slowly wait like 20 seconds for you to go back to the ground.
That sounds like Just Cause when people are flying around on the ground by opening their parachutes.
Yeah. So
That is so fun though.
But going back to Watch Dogs, I think I watched some gameplay, I watched some reviews, and the biggest thing that's a problem with that game is the popping and the popping
textures.
How do I describe this?
Pop in?
Texture popping. It is absolutely horrible. Have you seen it?
I haven't, no.
It's terrible for a fucking game that's supposed to be. I mean, I don't know what's going on there.
Did it
better
release
a
on
patch on the PC?
Did it release on Xbox and Xbox 360? And PS3?
Yes, I think so.
All I know is it was
think that's
supposed
what's
to. I don't
holding
know.
us
I don't know
back.
if it was at the same time.
I think that's what's holding it back. They said the main platform they were optimizing it for was PC.
Yeah, right.
But obviously that's bullshit.
Being someone who like mostly plays games in
Frustrating.
like the lowest quality possible, so that I can get any sort of like reasonable frame rate from it, like texture popping, I don't know, like I wouldn't mind, like because what it is like crappy textures, and then like, oh wait, we got the good textures here, have these instead, and then it pops in
The
like a couple
problem
seconds
with-
later.
The problem with these was Total Biscuit was talking about it, that it's so bad that cars will pop
Oh,
into your screen and you fucking crash into them
oh,
because
that
you
is
didn't
bad.
see them.
Wow. Okay.
It's that, yeah. Apparently, it's that bad.
I had an issue like that in LA Noire, and it would.
Yeah.
Now I don't think a lot of people had this issue, but there was an issue where I was driving through the city and vehicles would spawn right in front of me and cause my car to glitch. I would spawn inside of them, and my car would glitch around and fly over the map. It was hilarious, but then I couldn't really go anywhere just because it was such an issue. I think it eventually cleared itself up past a certain chapter, but I can see why that would be
never happened to me.
horribly annoying, especially if it's, you know, texture popping is one thing. GTA 4 or GTA 5 has an issue with that. Certainly just due to the speed of the media.
The size of the right.
But if it's models, that's pretty serious.
Yeah, that's worrying.
Something to collide into.
And I mean the world looks nice in Watch Dogs, but that is, if everything's popping in like that, it really makes it look pretty shitty. I'd rather have worse graphics and not have popping.
I would love if they like had that issue, like, oh crap, we can't get rid of like the cars popping in and stuff, and then just justifying it as like, oh, it's all set in like a digital reality and it's like generating and shit like that. That'd be well funny if they just come out with a statement like, well, actually, it's all taking place inside your head.
But I think, yeah, the fact that it's locked at 30 on consoles and what is it, 7 something p on the Xbox One? It's kind of a joke.
Xbox One is 792 and PS4 is 1080.
Is that even a P? 792?
Yeah, it's
That's weird.
Progressive.
Right. I don't know what that means, but yeah, I think they said we're not offering a next gen experience. We're offering. No, it's not more about the graphics. It's about the experience.
So they got both wrong.
Statement. Yeah.
Is what I'm.
Oh,
I mean, even Ultra, in some respects, on PC seems to look really good, but I haven't seen Ultra in motion very much, and even then, in motion, some things just don't.
Yeah, as I said, it looks good, but in motion, yeah, and also it doesn't look as good as the E3 footage, so people are making a fuss about that.
Yeah, that's a whole nother can of worms. People's expectations, and then drawing back from that. I think Dark Souls 2 had an issue with that as well, where they had this lighting system. I don't think it was technically global illumination, but it was attempting to fake that, and that was shown in the pre-release footage. And then suddenly on launch, hey, we don't have it. And then a lot of people were really annoyed at that, which is fine, because, well, in trailers that's not cool, because that's what you're advertising the game as.
Yeah,
that's Colonial Marines, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was
Alien Colonial.
Well, that was like an
Marines.
entirely different game that they showed.
Yeah,
but like if it's in like E3 stuff, I don't think that's that big of a deal. I mean, yeah, it's disappointing, but I don't think you should claim that as false advertising, because E3 really isn't official advertising, I would say. If it's a trailer, though, especially like an official one that was set out for, I think that should be scrutinized much more, because that was the material they gave you to make a decision to purchase on. E3 stuff is just to get people excited, and when E3 was.
Well,
so what? It was almost a year afterwards.
Yeah.
Since that stuff, I think that's, once they start working with the consoles more, and start getting down to optimizing, stuff happens.
But I saw a few posts on Reddit, which is quite interesting, about the development of Watch Dogs. Or Ubisoft in general, is they delegate a lot of the small like stuff to do to a whole variety of people, and then combine it in the end. So they don't have a kind of cohesive like dev team going on. It's just a bunch of contractors doing it.
that seems like
So
not
they
a good
don't-
idea.
So that's why this guy was talking about mirrors in Watch Dogs. There's no working mirrors in there because they told him it wasn't necessary. And this is a contractor talking.
Wait, are you talking about? I remember someone posted a image
Am I
of
talking
from.
on my arse here because
Well, I remember there was someone posted an image from 4chan, and there was some
Right.
information supposedly from a developer on that. I haven't seen the Reddit post, but someone also posted a really good explanation of why mirrors don't really happen in modern games. In old games,
Right,
it wasn't
yeah.
that big of a deal because you're multiplying
there's less going on.
2 times 2 is 4, but 16 million times 16 million is a lot in modern games because there's so much more to render. And I remember there's an Unreal 2 2003 map or something like that, where there's supposed to be a mirror on the floor, and they literally just copied the map and reversed it
Right.
because it was easier, and the performance benefit to some sort of shader thing wasn't really worth it. And so he basically pointed out is that mirrors are incredibly difficult in modern engines because basically you're rendering both sides of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's why you walk into most post-apocalyptic
Yeah.
bathrooms and the windows are smashed. The mirrors are smashed, rather.
I mean, there's 2 reasons for that. 1, makes sense, and 2, it's cheaper.
Yeah.
So I'm not too concerned with mirrors that don't work. I would have liked something that maybe was just a low res version, or maybe it definitely was.
That was just an example this guy was giving
I don't know.
about the
I think that's
way
nitpicking.
they do things.
It's nitpicking, I guess, if you know that they're very expensive to render.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean,
it's like saying,
I don't.
well, why isn't the map the size of the world? It's like, well, because that's dumb. Like, you can't just have these incredibly difficult things. It's like, well, they should have done it. You know.
Minecraft does it.
Minecraft does do it. Although Minecraft, if we're going to talk about bugs in Minecraft, we're going to go on for a while.
But Minecraft is
When it loads the world, it loads infinitely. But when it doesn't,
So yeah, I think I don't know. I'm getting on. There's certain things that you can give them slack for because no one else is doing it. Also,
Right.
ray trace games don't exist, so mirrors aren't going to happen that much until ray tracing becomes feasible. But it's
So
it's also good
does
that
that
mirrors
mean-
aren't important.
Does that mean the further on we get in graphical quality, the harder it is to render mirrors? So we'll never get it.
well, just from what I understand, because it's almost like multiplying the scene. It just
Yeah, basically.
as far as absolute numbers go, it becomes more expensive. Obviously, no matter what, if you have a mirror, it's going to have, say if a mirror is the size of a wall, you're basically like doubling kind of the render difficulty. But in any game, it's going to be like that. It's just that when you have a scene that requires, has something millions of polygons or something, you're kind of going to be rendering,
Sweet.
that amount doubled, for instance. But it's just that now you have, instead of 20 million polygons, you have 40 million. So that increase, and as far as absolute numbers go, is way larger. There are certain things you can do. Like I remember Duke Nukem Forever had a mirror, but that game's visuals are so simplistic. It's not that big of a deal. And secondly, it's kind of a half resolution kind of amalgam that they came up with to make that work.
I'd love like a game to come out this year and have like amazing graphics, and there's just like one level that looks like absolute crap. It's like, well, we had to put a mirror in this one. We had to scale everything else down so we could put the mirror in this dude's bedroom. Wouldn't that be awesome?
I love the mirrors in what's that game?
Mirror's Edge.
Heavy Rain had mirrors in it.
Oh, really? Isn't
I
Heavy
never
Rain where it's
played
just like
Heavy Rain.
press X?
Heavy Rain, fantastic.
Jason. Sean.
I was playing that with a friend was watching me play, and I could not stop laughing.
Oh god.
It's the most ridiculous thing in the world. Jason, you just spam the X key. It's fantastic. But yeah,
Press
Heavy
X to
Rain,
be a
fantastic
concerned
game.
parent.
Go play it. Yeah. The ending, not so much. Stop before the ending. Play the rest of the game.
So, are any of you actually planning on buying Watch Dogs, or not really?
No.
I was, but my mind might be changed now.
If you're
don't know.
forced to have like a regional copy.
Yeah, I mean, I was planning to do a let's play on it or some videos,
Yeah.
But it got leaked first,
Yeah, like a week beforehand.
Yeah.
and which was hilarious. And I guess just I'm getting less and less impressed by it, so I might just skip it, move on.
Yeah. I mean, I don't remember the last time I bought like a new game, so no by default, but
The multiplayer looks good, and the idea behind the multiplayer is really good, but that's all I got.
yeah, that does sound cool, but yeah, the game just doesn't look that interesting to me. It's like, yeah.
I mean, if it's like other Ubisoft games, it just takes. I mean, they inflate their playtimes a ton. I mean, just look at Assassin's Creed. I think the first Assassin's Creed was a big offender in this case, because if you don't do anything except the main mission, it's probably gonna be done in like 3 or 4 hours, maybe. But what you spend a lot of your time doing is just rescuing all the prostitutes and the random
flags and shit.
the random stuff like that. So I think, I mean, that could be said for Far Cry 3 as well. Far Cry 2, huge offender. But the problem with Far Cry 2 was it was all reoccurring. Nothing was considered done besides the main missions because you had the reoccurring enemies. Far Cry 3, though, at least you could finish something. You could take an outpost and it wouldn't be retaken again. And I think they've fixed that in later Assassin's Creed. I've only played the first one. But if Watch Dogs is like their later games, then I think I'll probably get it. Even if it's on just a minor sale if I have the money, because it does interest me, and I'm not, as much as I talk about it, a lot of the problems that I've seen don't bother me that much, because Far Cry 3, I keep going to Far Cry 3, just because it was a recent Ubisoft game. The type of monotony in that didn't bother me as much. It still felt fun, and as long as Watch Dogs feels fun, I don't really mind, even if it's underwhelming. I'll still probably.
I will say, walking around and like looking at people's personal information and like seeing, who had X amount of cats and who made what per hour was pretty fun. It was pretty interesting, and I do like the idea of like in theory, a lot of the stuff is really cool. Like my housemate was describing it to me, and I was like, oh, that sounds awesome. And then I saw it, and I was like, oh yeah, it's just, I don't know, it didn't really.
It's like the stealing people's money. You're like, oh, cool, I can steal people's money.
Yeah.
I'll find like rich people and be like Robin Hood.
Yeah.
And then you realize, oh, once I have all this money, I can't really do much with it.
Well,
I guess that's about it.
I'll put it this way: Brink was good in theory, and look how that turned out. Did you guys ever play Brink?
I never played Brink.
No,
I heard it was an
skipped it.
absolute flop.
Yeah.
Oh my god! I pre-ordered it because I was told it's going to be the best thing ever. That's the last
Wasn't
time
it-
I listened to
yeah.
people.
Wasn't it like a Team Fortress sort of thing?
It was
Like arena fighter?
kind of in essence, the only thing that was TF2 about it was the fact that it wasn't realistic, people. But that's kind of
that's
similar.
giant heads
I
or
mean, there's two
something.
teams. Woo. But the problem was you had this campaign, and in that campaign, effectively, it was just a successive amount of bot battles, which you could just do whenever. It's basically you on an AI team against an AI team, and this particular arena with this map and this set of players and this difficulty is chapter 1, let's say. And then they would just continue to get harder and harder, and said suddenly, congratulations, beat the game.
Yay.
But again, great in theory. It was, it was when parkour was just getting popular in kind of the mainstream. This was back when parkour videos were really popular on the internet, and this came after Mirror's Edge, I think. I think this was 2010, maybe. I think. I don't know, maybe I should look. So this was a while ago, but it was something that was hyped up unbelievably. And one issue was, again, they had these trailers, which made it seem great. They had actual gameplay footage. The problem was once people actually started playing it, it was just absolute trash. It came out in 2010, May 9th, 2011. So kind of the same thing as Watch Dogs. Like actual gameplay, Watch Dogs had gameplay footage, but it wasn't gameplay footage from players. You know what I mean? Once you actually play it and you're not cherry picking all of what's being done, it really falls apart. And the issue with this is, for the most part, it was just that it didn't work. It was so broken. Anyone on an AMD card basically was screwed because the game just you could play it at 800 by 600. At the time I had a 4870. Great card. Even in 2011 I got. Although about 2 months later. See, it shows 2011 on here, but I know it wasn't 2011. Because I bought my rig in a month later.
Yeah.
Sorry. Sorry, I'm going off topic. And it was anyone with really much an AMD card or ATI card was screwed because they could play it only 800 by 600 on lowest graphics and still get 15 frames per second. And there was horrible lag.
Watch Dogs? Or
Brink.
Oh, okay.
And so it was unplayable for a few weeks, and then when they finally finished it, no one was around. I mean, I think 3 or 4 weeks after launch, I went in and played, and there were about 15 people playing. And this was a AAA game that launched at $50. Published by Bethesda, who published Dishonored, and they're publishing. There's a new game they're doing, Battlecry, I think it is. Have you seen the trailer for that? It's kind of a TF2-ish.
I heard the name, but not seen it.
But I guess it's I think it's third person arena shooter thing, melee, but set in like kind of the steampunk-ish.
Oh no,
era.
I did see that. Yeah, it's like that looks cool. I saw the
got
theatrical
Dishonored.
trailer for it.
Yeah, the CGI is
Dishonored
obviously
ready to play.
misleading. Anyway, so I
Hey
hope
guys,
hope Battlecry is better than Brink.
We're slightly running just over an hour here. How are you guys for staying on for a bit longer to talk about some E3 stuff?
I'm good to stay.
I'm good.
Sweet, awesome. All right, some
Extra special, extra long.
bonus. Here you go, guys. Actually, I want to talk about what I've been playing. Actually, I played a little game called Among the Sleep. I played the alpha version, and the game just came out a few days ago. And you guys heard
Well,
this?
no, it didn't because it's an alpha.
No, the actual game came out.
Oh, the
I
actual
played
game?
the alpha
I was
before,
about to
like
go
a
on
day before it
I was
came
about
out.
to complain X Infinity about early access games, but do go on.
Have you guys heard of this at all?
I've heard
a lot
of
about
it.
it.
It's been.
All right.
I've seen it on the Steam front page.
I do not do scary games. I just stay away from anything paranormal, just because of stuff that's happened. But it's a first-person horror adventure. You play as a small 2-year-old child, and it's got a kind of spooky, scary, atmospheric kind of. There's a bit trippy aspects to the gameplay, and I guess I gave the alpha a try, and just because I don't do jump scares. If there's jump scares, I'm out. Like Outlast, fuck you, no way. But this game it has a more kind of atmospheric feel to it rather than playing a loud noise and scaring you. So
I think I like the concept because a child is going to have I would think a child has a great imagination, because obviously it's been a while since I was a child. And that's what I think really draws me to it, is all the crazy art style and just the fact that you're playing as a child, that even in their dark bedroom, there's something that's going to be scary. And I like that concept a lot.
Yeah, same. That's what drawn me into it. And I fucking hate scary games, but I don't know why I'm so drawn to this game. Like, just when you look down at your body, you're a little child. It's so cute.
Oh, it has a body?
But yeah, it's awesome.
It's great.
It's got a full little child's body, and when you press escape to go to the menu, its little hands come up and close its eyes. It's little things like that that make that game really cool.
Wow.
But as you said, you play as a child, so it's like you feel vulnerable, if you know what I mean. You don't have a gun. You can't run away. You can't.
I want a 2-year-old with a gun. Make it happen,
There's
Infinity
been
War.
games like that. Yeah. But I think it's as you said, the imagination, the trippy aspects draw me to it as well. Oh, lovely! Here comes another player.
It's a monster.
But the full game's out, and the only thing about it is it only lasts 2 hours.
Oh, really? The full thing?
Yeah.
What's it retailing at?
18.
It's 18 at the moment. Yeah.
But it's going to be 20 once the special promotion ends.
Till 6 June, I think you have. But I don't know. I think I'm gonna pick it up just because it looks really cool.
Yeah, it scored a 69 on Metacritic, but that's. Yeah. Then again, I think.
It's probably because of its length.
Yeah, true. There was a game I just looked at, and it had like a 45 on Metacritic, but it was a great game. I just looked at it.
What's Bound by Flame on Metacritic?
Oh, that's a good question. Let's see. It's not listed on the Steam store page.
Damn. But anyway, I think I'm gonna pick up Among the Sleep after this. Or after we're done here, I'm gonna go shit my pants. playing it. It's gonna be fantastic.
Down by Flame has a 57 on PC.
Wow.
God.
Although there's a
dang.
lot of positive user reviews. A ton gave it 10s, but I don't know why. Oh god.
I need to go educate myself on Bound by Flame. Like, I saw that it was a game, and I was like, huh. And apparently, no good.
Well, if you want a primer on why it's bad, I got something for you. But
Yeah, I will. I'll be sure to check that out because that sounds really cool.
I love the little skits in your review as well. They're really good.
yeah, that was a last minute thing actually. That I just in the moment was like, you know what, screw it, I'm gonna record something, and it ended up being really fun to do.
What you should do is take them out and post them as separate videos.
I don't know.
Kind of like a teaser.
Teaser after it's been posted, huh?
Yeah.
Or I guess if in future videos, if I do those, I could release them like a week before to get people interested or something. Maybe.
Yeah. Even after it to be like
A more
an enticement to
palatable
watch more.
one,
Yeah.
a linkable thing.
I'm thinking of doing that for videos I make, just making little extract videos.
But yeah, I'm really
Sounds like
surprised
somebody
the amount of 10s that this got. Assuming they're legitimate 10s and not just
They're probably just
my dad's a
people
developer.
trying to get the score up.
But then again, there are people out there that feel personally invested in how a game is received. Especially if you're a backer for something. But this is a game where, it was published by a regular. I mean, it wasn't crowdfunded, as far as I know.
Yeah.
Well, I hope it wasn't. So I don't see why.
I mean, for
realistically,
for a studio that big, it's a decent game. I mean,
yeah.
I think it's just expectation that lets it down. But anyway, moving on.
E3.
Enough about Bound by Flame.
E3, or whatever else you've been playing.
That's about it, really. Other than the games that are on my channel that I've talked about constantly. That's about the only new one I've tried out. But I think my biggest thing I'm looking forward to is another scary game. But I don't know how I'm gonna play it. I'm just gonna have to wear Pampers or something. But it's the new Alien game that they're working on.
Oh yeah.
Which is
Isolation, is that it?
Yeah.
That looks really good.
I mean, oh my god. I'm like a massive Alien fan.
I'm really
of the
interested
original.
as to how it would work because I don't know how it won't just be like the Alien movie, but in first person.
Isn't that
Like,
what
I
people
wonder-
want?
Well, you play as
Yeah, but I'm
Amanda
wondering-
Ripley. You play as Ellen Ripley's daughter.
Ooh.
And you're looking for, I think the story behind it is, you're looking for the Nostromo, the original ship. And I'm not sure if it takes place on the Nostromo. I don't think it does.
Would you guys hate me if I said I'd never seen an Aliens movie?
No,
Really?
I've seen the
The
first
original?
one. I haven't seen anything else.
That was kind of
first-
just a time period where I never watched any movies. Like I never watched any movies from that period.
Alien is great.
I
The rest
know,
are
yeah.
okay.
It actually took me a long time to watch movies like Rambo and Commando and stuff like that. I think it's the name, Commando. Movies like that just took me a long time to finally sit down and watch. Like I know a lot of the references and a lot of the scenes because they're referenced all the time. But
Yeah.
it's one of those things where it takes forever to sit down and enjoy.
Mhm.
But yeah, this
I'd really
this game
recommend
looks
Aliens.
so much like a space Amnesia, just the way it's presented.
Yeah, that's where it's going for, I think. But it looks incredible. I mean, the 1970s future kind of thing. It absolutely looks like the film.
Futurism, I think,
That's
is
what I love.
futurism. I think is the term for that, right? Or no?
I think so. I don't know.
But I hope it's more Dark Descent Amnesia versus a Machine for Pigs Amnesia, because I have a 45-minute review that I'm working on for Machine for Pigs, which I need to cut down. But
Right.
there's a lot of problems with how Machine for Pigs delivers its scares versus Dark Descent. So I hope it's way more atmospheric.
I haven't played.
That's what they said it will be. Yeah.
I haven't played the Machine for Pigs, but I played like maybe the first, I don't know, however many minutes of the first one, of Dark Descent, and I remember just like opening a door and there just being like flesh everywhere, and I was like, well, this one's not for me. I'm not playing this game. I'm gonna close this door and shut my laptop.
I steered clear of Amnesia. I can't handle that.
I would say
I do really
first
want to
one.
play it, but
I would absolutely recommend the first one, even if you're not too keen on scary games. Machine for Pigs, though, not really, because
cheap scares.
Basically, like, it's hard to describe. A lot of people say the second one isn't as scary, but it's way less. Once you're done with it, you're just like, that's it. Like, it's hard to describe. And I think that's why my video was going to be so long. But the way I kind of put it was, in A Machine for Pigs, the horror in that game is effectively you walking up to somebody who has headphones on and just like slapping them across the face. Like, did you get scared? You got scared. But in the first one, it's like you open a door slowly in the darkness and you just growl, and someone's like, what the fuck was that? You know, kind of like the first one, just, it was so better orchestrated horror that actually played with you instead of it throwing the horror at you and it's like, you better get scared or it's not going to be worth your money kind of feeling.
That's what's great about Among the Sleep. A lot of the atmosphere is done with sound and done with sound design, and the sound design in that game is fantastic.
Yeah.
Because as usual, you're in a house, you're a baby, you're going to hear shit, and the way it's delivered is really good. But I think the same with the Alien game. Like, I actually had to write an essay on the music in that game. In the film, rather.
Oh.
And I hope they put it into the game. The kind of the sounds of the ship and stuff like that is just so spooky.
I mean, if they didn't, I would be really disappointed, even as someone who hasn't seen the movie, because you have to. I mean, I don't know.
Here's a fun fact for you, by the way. Did you know Sigourney Weaver's character was actually originally written for a man?
No.
But she came in to audition for the other role, and they were like, she's fantastic. We're gonna turn the main character into Sigourney Weaver. But they didn't change any of the dialogue, which is interesting.
Huh.
I think that's kind of good.
That's awesome.
From a writing perspective, I think it's very interesting.
Feminism. Way.
Well, or the fact that it was so well written
that it wasn't like...
Yeah.
That it wasn't like, oh, he's a man, so he should say something like, fuck yeah, balls, or something like that. You know, like, like it was so well written that it became more about the character than the gender.
I think that's really cool.
That's just my interpretation.
I should rewatch that movie.
And also, they could put her in her underwear at the end of the film. That was also a plus.
For you, gosh. So when is that? That's being shown. That's being shown at E3.
I hope so. Yeah.
Oh, so that's just something coming out.
Yeah, I'm. That's what I'm looking forward to in E3.
Because really, all I know about E3 is the fact that a ton of games are not being shown, but they're going to be shown very soon after E3. That's most of the headlines I've been seeing.
I'm looking forward to the Smash Bros. Invitational that's going to happen. They're like inviting, I think, 16 like well-known Smash Bros. Players to play the new one on like limited characters and stuff like that. Which my housemate, we recently started playing Project M, which, if you don't know, is like it's a mod of Super Smash Bros. Brawl, which makes it like tweaks a bunch of like the characters and stuff and makes it like more competitive and things. And it's really, really fun. It's a really, really good game, and we've been playing like a shit ton of that recently. And I've been getting really into like the competitive Smash like scene. So I'm like super excited for all that stuff, and I hope it's a good game. Because
now, when you say, sorry, go ahead.
Go on.
Oh, you guys.
When you say Project M is a mod, because it was my understanding that was something you played also on the PC. Is it kind of like an emulated mod?
No. You can basically you can play Project M by on a Wii with all the Project M files on an SD card that you just put in the Wii, and it just plays Project M. It's really, really cool. I mean, we do play it on an emulated version. We play it on Dolphin,
right?
But it's actually it's designed for
playing to be used on an official console.
On a Brawl disc, and then you just put all the files you need on an SD card, put it in the Wii, and then you're good to go.
That's awesome.
So yeah, it's really, really cool. I would like to play it on the Wii with like proper GameCube controllers and everything like that, because that would be more kind of authentic.
Because I had
like,
Brawl for Wii as well. GameCube controllers always won.
Yeah, no, you should for sure take a look at that then. Yeah, I don't know how easy it is. I would assume it's pretty easy if it's just on an SD card. But yeah, that's awesome. It's a really, really cool game. So I'm like really excited for that. I think that's gonna be awesome.
Yes, I've sorry to disappoint you, but I've absolutely zero interest in Smash Bros.
Oh man,
Sorry. I don't know.
it is
I never got into it as a kid. So
Well,
Do you guys remember?
I was saying I had the first one, and I played the heck out of that. I played that so much, like on
N64. Yeah.
I had Melee. I had it, and then I never played it all that much. And then with Brawl, I followed the entire, like, every single bit of information that was released about Brawl. I was like all on top of it, and I like looked at the the info pages every day, like, and I got so excited for it. And then when I played it, I was like, oh, it's just a video game. Like, I don't know what I expected from it, but I was a kid, and I was like, this is gonna be the best thing ever. And then it was just like a game. But going back now, like, it is such a it's so good. It's such a good game. It's the most fun, and it's so much more interesting than like any other fighter I've played, and it's fun, and it's so much fun. So good. Awesome game.
Nice.
10 out of 10 game of the year. Yeah, I was gonna say, I don't know if you guys remember the original commercials for Super Smash Brothers for N64.
Oh.
I've seen them. Yeah, like on
You've seen
YouTube
the
and
sense.
shit. They're awesome.
Because I remember actually seeing them on TV. Having an N64. It was basically my first console. Well, I shared it with my brother, obviously, but it was one of the first commercials for a game that I saw on TV, and I was like, I have to get this. Because everything prior to that was just, it's a Mario game, so it must be good. And I think and that mentality is actually very important to Nintendo right now.
That still works for them, doesn't it?
Yeah, which is it's somewhat unfortunate because they haven't. I mean, the 3 Mario games they have are really good. They don't sell as much, but they're really good. Galaxy, for instance, fantastic games.
I finished Galaxy 1. That was an amazing game.
I went through, I think, the first half of Galaxy, and then unfortunately, I never touched it anymore. But I remember really liking it. And I guess Galaxy 2 improved on it even further. But I loved when was Super Smash Bros. Released? It was like 2000?
The original one? Probably around then, yeah.
I guess it was a Nickelodeon commercial, but like for Jimmy, if you haven't seen them, it's a bunch of, you have Yoshi, Mario, Peach, Pikachu, and I think Donkey Kong.
Not Peach. Peach wasn't in the first one.
What?
I don't think. Yeah,
Pretty
Peach
sure
was in the
she
first
was. What? I gotta look at it. So, and they're all walking in a field, and then one of them trips over, or one of them trips the other one, and then suddenly
it's all like people in suits, like Teletubbies.
Yeah. And so they're walking. They're like not walking. They're like frolicking in a field together, hand in hand. And then one of them, I guess, accidentally trips the other one. Then he goes after them, and then suddenly it's this huge fight. That they're still in these huge costumes, but they're beating the hell out of each other. And they're in these giant suits. Pikachu, murdering Donkey Kong is incredibly satisfying. And that was a commercial for it. Basically, it was just like Super Smash Brothers on 64, and that was like basically it. It was incredibly creative instead of just showing, "Here's our new game, man."
Yeah. Well, I want to know, was Smash Bros. Like the first game of that kind, like fighter that isn't strictly, glued to the ground, 2D, massive combo Street Fighter kind of thing? Like, was that the first of its kind? Because I know there's other games that are like that, but I don't know when they came out.
An arena fighter kind of.
Yeah. But like the kind of 2D, very very mobile, jumping all across these like crazy arenas and stuff. Like,
No, can't say I can think of another
yeah,
one.
no, I was thinking about it the other day. I'm like, oh, if this was
All
like,
that's popping into my head is Streets of Rage. It makes no sense.
yeah, because I was thinking about it, like, if this was the first of its kind, like, this game's even more impressive to me than it already is, because it's so, like,
You know what? I should
incredible.
pick up an N64 and play all these games. I missed out on that as a kid. I never played Zelda. I never played Mario 64. Never played GoldenEye. Holy shit. I should go pick one up. They're cheap now, right?
No, you say that.
Or an emulator.
Yeah,
I'll just be
emulator.
a pirate.
Yeah, it says here that Peach was not in the original, which is very surprising.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, snap.
It was only like just the other day I was trying to remember all the original characters by memory.
There were not that many.
There was 12.
Yoshi, Samus, Pikachu, Ness for some reason. Why is Peach not in there? But Ness is. Mario, Luigi, Link, Kirby, Jigglypuff, Fox, and Captain Falcon.
I love Captain Falcon just as a character because everything is about him is just utterly fabricated. Like, I think it's so funny. Because he's just an F-Zero pilot, right?
Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean,
think
I
that's,
just
like,
know I just know from the games F-Zero. Basically, is all
yeah,
I know
but
about.
like, I don't think he like actually has any personality. So everything, all his entire Smash Bros. Character is purely just like, oh, this would be fun. Let's make this into a person. I think it's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, I might be totally wrong, but.
So basically, Captain Falcon is just a face. And that's it.
Essentially, yeah.
And then when they brought him into this game, they have to we have to give him personality, and then that was a bunch of it.
Cool.
So E3.
Yeah.
Yeah, anything else in particular?
I
All I can think of is Star Wars Battlefront.
Is that actually being
That
shown?
Rumored.
Hmm.
Most likely, yes. They're going to show something of it.
I wonder if we'll see
How
anything
much? I don't know.
from Battlefield Hardline or whatever it is. From, I guess, Visceral's working on it.
All right.
But my worry is that it's going to turn. I mean, Battlefield has been trying to become the Call of Duty, and I fear that one way they're going to do it is by having, because Battlefield games have been on for the most part, every 2 years, kind of. I mean,
Right.
Bad Company 2 kind of gets away with it because it was earlier in the year. Because Bad Company 2 came out in March of 2010, and then Battlefield 3 came out in October of 2011. So it's kind of like 18, 20 months, something like that. But if Visceral is going to be working on their own game, my worry is that it's going to become this every year deal, like Call of Duty is. Because now they have 3 studios working on Call of Duty, so they can do it every year, but
It's
be
insane.
bigger games. Because before it was every year, but they had like a 2-year development cycle, so it kind of worked out. So, I don't know. In like Call of Duty's case, if they get more studios to do it in parallel, we might get better games because they have more development time. Like,
Yeah, I
Are you
think that's like
talking
as much
about the...
as stale as Call of Duty is. I think the idea of kind of rotating the development for it is really cool. Like,
right.
I think that's really kind of inspired.
Right. So are you talking about the Battlefield that'll have the heists and stuff?
I don't know.
The game modes that are less on the big scale and more about... Yeah, what fucking game am I thinking of? Is that Battlefield?
I think it is. I think I heard something about that
I
recently.
think that... Yeah, I read something somewhere a while ago that probably just went straight through my head.
You're a reliable source of
But they're
information.
having a few game modes that are kind of like Payday, where it's heists and cops and robbers kind of thing going on. Which is, I think more on a smaller scale, I guess.
That
Which-
interests me, and I have faith in Visceral that they'll do something interesting. I just worry that in the future EA is gonna like, hey, this works out, and so they'll start either expanding Visceral so they can work on slightly larger games every release to become the every other year Battlefield. Because what I was saying with Call of Duty is, in theory, it's great because they get more time to work on them. Instead of having a 2-year development cycle, they can have like a 3-year with 3 companies, 3 developers doing it. But the downside is, on the end user, you still have this brand new $60 game every year that you have to stay on top of. So you may get a better game, but you may. It's just tricky because if you want to stay on the latest, that's a lot of money.
Yeah. At least it's not like, I remember the, what is it, the, oh crap, what's the Kingdom Hearts? Yeah, Kingdom Hearts. There's like so many Kingdom Hearts games, and they're like across every different game platform imaginable, which must just be like there's ones on,
you know, the Game Boy.
Yeah, it's like PS2, like 3DS, DS, PlayStation, PSP, and shit like that. Like,
it sounds like FIFA. Don't they still make FIFA for the PS2?
I would
I
not
think
be
I think
surprised.
I think the last one, 2013, was the last one they did, something like that.
Was that the last one?
Oh, man.
I think
But
so.
like with the Kingdom Hearts stuff, I think I might be totally wrong. It's not Kingdom Hearts, but there is some series. where
Final
it's
Fantasy
all-
reminds me of that.
Yeah, but it's all one single story that spans like individually. Like they don't release something on like PlayStation and then also there's one on DS. It will go from PlayStation and then be like, oh, the next game's on DS. Oh, the next game's on PSP. Oh, the next game's on like PS3.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy.
So like, if you want to actually play these games sequentially, you have to own like thousands of dollars of hardware. It's kind of funny.
It was like when Final Fantasy released the FF7, the pre-story on the PSP. I was like, God damn it, I don't have a fucking PSP. I can't play it.
You were right. FIFA 14 was released on PlayStation 2.
God damn, really?
So we have
14.
Windows, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, PlayStation 3, Xbox 360, Wii, PlayStation 2, PlayStation Vita, Nintendo 3DS, PlayStation Portable, I guess, was it PSP, the old one? iOS and Android. So obviously those are different versions, but that's an
mental.
incredibly
Is that the
wide.
game? Is that the game with a single title released on the most platforms?
I'd probably guess so, yeah.
I mean, I don't expect you to know that off the
It's
top of
on
your head,
everything.
It sounds like it.
insane.
But that was FIFA 14.
I'm sure that goes for FIFA 13 and FIFA 12 and, you know, all the
Love-
others.
love me some
I bet they get those
FIFA.
ridiculous releases.
Well, FIFA 14 is the first one on the new gen consoles, and FIFA 13
True.
and
there you
FIFA
go.
12, both. Well, because they're still on the same consoles. It wasn't like suddenly they weren't. It's not like they were developing it for PlayStation 1, you know, in 2010 or something like that. So, FIFA 14 is probably the most consoles.
Yeah, true. Was that released on Wii?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
but not Wii
I
U.
can't remember what, yeah, I can't remember what series it was. But it was like
Really?
some major sporting series, and they were just like,
Man,
yeah, no one's buying it on Wii. Like,
That's
we're just not going to do it
hilarious.
anymore. Like, oh my god, I feel so bad.
you know what? Watch Dogs would be perfect on the Wii U.
They just point at
All
a
this
camera.
hacking stuff. Yeah, exactly. First person pointing at cameras and, you know, that jazz using the screen.
Apparently, there was FIFA 64 in 1997. Interesting.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's been around a long time. It only got popular recently, though, with FIFA 10. Used to be Pro Evo.
I guess the first
Yeah.
one was FIFA International Soccer, released 15th of July, 1993.
Wow.
That was before it did the yearly things, and then it became FIFA 95, 96, and so on.
And they release a World Cup game every 4 years as well, on top of it.
FIFA, the Road to World Cup, I guess is what it's called.
Yeah.
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 Sorry, I'm just reading Wikipedia. So, yeah, I don't know much about E3 at this year. Just because, basically what I was saying before, I've read so many headlines that are basically, game blah is not going to be shown at E3, but hopes it will be shown soon after. It's like, all the news I'm hearing is about the things that won't be shown. Granted, E3 is also a good time to hype people on new games, but I don't know of any.
I mean, there's nothing
brand new
coming out at the
games.
moment, is there?
Most of what I know has been already either A, released, or already shown at the past E3. So,
Goddamn
every single
planes.
year, I'm like, oh man, I'm gonna sit down and watch E3 this year. It's gonna be awesome. I'm gonna like set the day aside and like watch the whole thing. It'd be great. And then it gets to like 8 o'clock on that day. I'm like, oh shit, E3's on today. I missed like every conference. Like,
Yeah.
I'm like,
My only-
Living in
Nintendo one?
different
Oh, well.
time zones.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
and then Twitch is just not going to work or
Oh,
something.
God.
I just hope Ubisoft does not hire Aisha Tyler to do it again. She's great.
Did she do it?
She was in Watch Dogs, isn't it?
Really? Aisha Tyler's awesome.
As
Aisha
a
Tyler
voice.
is.
Yeah.
I meant as a presenter. Because she presented
She's
last two E3s,
Lana,
I
isn't
think.
she? She's Lana from
She's
Archer.
an archer, right?
Yeah,
she is the one.
she plays Lana.
Yeah, she's in Watch Dogs as a little voice.
Oh,
thing.
that's what,
She's
Aisha Tyler's
she's
awesome.
great, but the kind of humor she has does not blend well with Ubisoft's presentations. Like, I'm a huge fan of her, but it was just unfortunate that type of combination.
Archer.
She did the Girlwood hashtag.
Lana.
You guys remember that?
No.
Girlwood, I think it was.
I think I missed that. What's that about?
It was like she was so excited for a game. I think it was Blacklist or something like that. It was like, so hashtag Girlwood was on her shirt.
Oh, yeah.
Because she
right,
was so
I
excited.
just got that.
So, yeah. Anyways,
I guess the only other thing I'm looking forward to remotely is Telltale and what they're gonna do with Game of Thrones. Maybe they'll
I
show it.
don't care about Telltale games. Like, I
Yeah,
don't know if I've
you
mentioned
know-
it before. I don't like walking around slowly and then talking to people slowly, and then making a decision and then having the person go,
You've not played them, have you?
I have.
All right.
I
okay.
played the first.
get wrecked.
I played the first chapter of the Walking Dead game, and
Well, there
like,
you go. It doesn't pick up until later on.
well, I'll make the game interesting, and then I'll play it. Like, I don't know. But it's really. I played
gotta
the first.
say-
I played a lot of. I played like a few hours of Wolf Among Us as well. I don't like doing something and then just, they prize themselves on like, oh,
The gameplay's in the
game
dialogue.
changes. Whatever you do, and like that's cool. But when I do something and then the person goes, oh, I'll remember that. It's like I don't know what that means.
The more I'm playing the most recent one, episode 2 of The Walking Dead, it's kind of, the more I play it, the less I feel involved in my decision making. Like, the more I play it, the more I find it's offering you 3 routes to get to the same point.
Oh, really?
So it's kind of like, no matter what decision I make, I'm going to end up at this point, because it's impossible for them to make so many different branching paths that eventually you'll have to get to a certain point in the story. And you just kind of feel cheated a bit, where they're like, oh, create your own story, stuff like that. Oh,
Yeah, I don't know. I've played them.
goodness.
They've just never really. I don't feel like they've ever worked as intended for me, really. Although I will say that my entire opinion on a game is often based on just like how I feel that day. Like what was it recently? I started playing. I played Mass Effect like a long time ago. Like the first couple hours of it, I was like, this game sucks, and then I picked it up again this week. And no, yeah, but this is the thing. Like I was like, oh, I don't like it, and then I picked it up again this week, and I was like, oh wait,
Get
no,
out,
this game's
Harry.
good. I was just grumpy before. Like,
Get out.
I
here.
kind of I would say I share the same issue. I was trying to think of the word.
Yeah.
Sentiment.
Where the mood I'm in can really influence what I get out of a game. I think that's true for a lot of
Although-
people. They don't realize it.
yeah, I'm aware of it now. So if I don't like something, I'll just be like, okay, I'll try it some other time.
Yeah.
Instead
I
of just
think
being
that
like,
was
"This
I think
game
that was the thing with
awful."
Far Cry. Sorry, going back to Far Cry all the time. When I first played it, I only played it for like 3 hours, and I was like, I'm gonna take a break from this. 1 year later, and then suddenly I finally start playing it. But yeah, I think Mass Effect was so good. I didn't finish the second one though.
Disclaimer: we're not sponsored by Far Cry here.
No, it's just I just finished it last night. I've been talking to a lot of
Brett
people
might
about
be.
it.
Yeah. Do you work for Ubisoft?
I wish so I could get a copy of Watch Dogs.
I'm actually sponsored by Bound by
Yeah, me
Flames.
too.
This is kind of awkward for me.
Well, anyway, on that note, I think we should wrap up. We're
Yes.
reaching about an hour and 45 minutes.
Give or
Decent
take.
time. Apologize for all the planes flying overhead. As an individual,
really
I
move out
can't
of
do
that
anything
airport.
about that. If you're still around, thank you for listening, guys. It's been a pleasure.
It's been wonderful.
Brett, Harry,
Yes.
It's been lovely
Wonderful.
as usual.
I'm gonna go to sleep now.
I'm going to wake up now and go play Among the Sleep. Cack my pants. There you go.
Funny juxtaposition there.
Yeah. So thanks for watching, guys. Take care, and we'll see you in the next one. Peace out.
Farewell.
Bye.